Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. ATP draw preview and prediction video for the ATP Montpellier event. The 250 event has a pretty impressive lineup, and I have to say, I would say it's more like an ATP 500 event given the lineup. So it's going to be an exciting tournament. We're going to get into it. Before we do though, remember to that like button, do subscribe if you're new, and also do leave a rating or review if you're listening on a podcast platform. Let's get into it. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through, as I always do, each match, give you guys my prediction for each match, and then ultimately we'll end up with a winner at the end of it. And hopefully I'm right, but you never know. I can sometimes be wrong, sometimes. Okay, let's get into it. Rune has a bye in the first round, so he is the top dog in this tournament, and we know how much talent he has winning the Paris Masters last year against Novak Djokovic in the final. In the Australian Open, he also had a pretty good run, losing to Andrei Rublev later on in the tournament. And that would have been a bit of a disappointment to him. But the fact that he had match points as well. Given that, though, I think he's going to have a very good year this year. And he's all set for another breakthrough year. So I've got him going through. Of course, he's got a bye. Heusler plays a wild card, Luca Van Asch. I'm going to go Heusler, though. Basilashvili versus Lestienne. Basilashvili is probably the hardest player to pick because he's just so inconsistent and he hits such a massive ball. But when he's hot, he's really hot. When he's cold, he's really cold. So I'm going to go for Lestienne, who will be a home favorite, being French. I've got Barrera versus Alexander Bublik. Bublik is the reigning champion in Montpellier. He's not going to be one of the favorites, though, this year. I'm going to go for him to get through the first round, though. Coric has a bye. That's a really dangerous opponent. Of course, Coric has now come back from some very, very difficult injury plays that he's had in the past few years, and he's been able to find some fantastic form. Had a pretty underwhelming Australian Open, similar to Alexander Bublik, but both players will be looking to kick on for the rest of the year. Qualifier will play Arthur Ridden next. I'm going to Ridden Maxim Cressy to come through that as well. Mikael Ymer versus Rusevori. I'm going to go. That's a tough one. Rusevori. David Fokina versus Ugo Humbert. Ugo Humbert has actually he has surprised me a little bit at the start of this year in a positive way, and I've been happy to be wrong on this occasion because I thought he was going to have another pretty poor year, and maybe when the grass court swing came, he would then be able to spring into action again. We know that he's very natural on the green stuff, but when it comes to any other surface, he's struggled notoriously for the last couple of years. He's still very young, though. However, some decent wins at the start of the year, including a couple of wins at the Australian Open, which is really good. Alejandro David Fokina has had some varied results, and on the hard courts, he's not the force he is on clay, that's for sure. However, he is still very, very dangerous. So we'll see how he gets on. I'm going to go with Humbert to just edge it, but a very tight one. Hallis has got qualified, so I'm going to go Quinton Hallis. We've got Arthur Fields versus Richard Gasquet. I'm going to Gasquet. Roberto Batista Agut has got a bye. Benjamin Bonzi against Sonego. Tough one. Bonzi's been in some good form. Lorenzo Sonego probably not in as good a form as he'd like. I'm going to go Benjamin Bonzi given form. Filip Krajinovic and Aslan Karatsev, two players who have had some purple patches in their careers, especially Aslan Karatsev. Krajinovic has like here or there, but neither player really in great form. I'm going to go Karatsev to just edge it. Fucsovic against Qualifier, going to go Fucsovic, and then Sinner has a bye. Then if we go to the round of 16 or the next set of matches, Rune to beat Heusler for me, Bublik to beat Lestienne. I've got Coric to beat Riddenek. Cressy and Rusevori. That's a fantastic match. Of course, Cressy loves to charge the net, and he's a very difficult customer to face on a hard court. especially fast hard courts. It's a tough one. It really is a tough one. I'm going to go with Maxim Cressy. I think he's going to frustrate Rusevori. Ugo Humbert versus Quinton Hallis. I'm actually going Quinton Hallis to cause a bit of an upset, maybe. Although it wouldn't be the biggest upset, of course, given that neither player is seeded at the tournament. Roberto Bautista Agut versus Richard Gasquet. Going to go RBA. Bonzi versus Karatsev. Going to go Bonzi. And then Sinner to beat Fucsovic. Although a very tight match that one could end up being, I tell you. Fucsovic with some decent results at the Australian Open recently. For Sinner, of course, losing to Tsitsipas in the round of 16. Holger Rune and Alexander Bublik in the quarterfinals. I'm going to go Holger Rune, but that could go either way. I think Holger Rune has a 60-40 advantage in that one. Coric and Cressy. I think the reason I'm saying that, by the way, for the Holger Rune and Alexander Bublik match is because Bublik's a reigning champion. I don't think he'll feel pressure. He'll probably feel like he has some really good memories here, and the crowd will also be behind him to some degree as well, you would think. Coric and Maxim Cressy. I'm going to go Coric. I think he can combat the Maxim Cressy serve and charge tactics. Hallis and RBA going to go RBA. And then Sinner to beat Bonzi again, could be a tight one though. Holger Rune and Coric, I'm going to go with... Thing is, Holger Rune can stick with Coric's backhand. And serve return dynamic, Holger Rune might be okay. Forehand, he should dominate. I'm going to go Holger Rune. RBA, Sinner, I'm going to go Sinner. So I'm actually going for arguably a pretty straightforward and boring in the sense that I've picked the top two seeds final, but this would be an incredible final, wouldn't it? I mean, the trading from the back of the court, the baseline exchanges would be a real treat to watch. So I'm hoping we do get this. I think it's going to be a fantastic match if we do. Both incredibly athletic. Both still have some areas to improve on serve, but the returning from both players is also very natural. They find great angles on the forehand and backhand. They're all court players, and they're all surface players as well now. It's a really tough one to call. I'm going to go with Jannik Sinner to just edge it. A very tight 3 sets. I just think he has a little bit more experience on tour than Holger Rune at this stage. I think that could put him in a better position. So that's my pick. Let me know your picks for this tournament. I'm really looking forward to watching it. Thank you very much, guys, for tuning in. Stay safe and well. We'll see you on the next video. Thank you very much.